The story begins with Logan, a Marine on a dangerous mission in Iraq. His team walks straight into an ambush and chaos erupts. Gunfire, explosions, and shouts fill the air. In the chaos, a brave soldier called Aces risks his life to save another wounded comrade, but is fatally shot moments later. Logan fights back, taking down the attackers, but by the end of the night, 2 soldiers are lost, and the mission fails. At dawn, Logan waits near the extraction point for the helicopter, replaying the disastrous events in his mind. As he waits, something shiny in the rubble catches his eye. He picks it up and finds a photograph of a beautiful woman. Without hesitation, he slips the picture into his pocket, drawn to its mysterious presence. In a flash, an airstrike explosion devastates the ground, killing everyone nearby. Miraculously, Logan survives. When he regains consciousness in a medical camp, a fellow soldier returns the photograph, mentioning that he saw Logan pick it up before the blast and calls it his guardian angel. Back at base, Logan can't get the woman in the photo out of his mind. He asks around, showing it to others, hoping someone recognizes her. Despite his efforts, no one does. The mystery lingers, and Logan can't shake the feeling that the woman in the picture somehow played a part in his survival. Before his final mission, Logan's teammate jokingly calls the photo his lucky charm. He adds that if Logan returns safely, he must thank the girl in the picture. Before the conversation can go further, a shell lands next to their car, causing a devastating explosion. Miraculously, Logan survives again. This solidifies his belief that the woman in the photo is more than a coincidence. She is his guardian angel, protecting him in the most dangerous moments. After completing his service, Logan returns to his sister's home, greeted joyfully by his loyal dog Zeus. Though relieved to be home, Logan struggles with the transition to civilian life. Haunted by memories of war, he suffers from severe PTSD. Logan's sister grows increasingly concerned about his fragile state. During a quiet morning, the sound of video game gunfire unsettles him, prompting her to send the boys outside to play to avoid further distress. Later that day, Tim surprises Logan by jumping onto his bed, but the sudden action startles Logan. Logan panics and grabs him by the throat before snapping back to reality. His sister rushes in, horrified by the scene, leaving everyone shaken. She urges Logan to seek help or find a new purpose to regain control of his life. Struggling with his thoughts that night, Logan recalls the photograph. Using the lighthouse in the background of the photo as a clue, Logan pinpoints its location to a small town in Louisiana. Before setting off, Logan records a heartfelt video message for his sister, explaining his decision to leave and his need to find a sense of purpose. Accompanied by Zeus, Logan sets out on foot, walking day and night to reach his destination. Along the way, he camps under the stars, cooks over open fires, and slowly begins to adapt to a quieter, more peaceful life. The journey helps ease his PTSD and gives him the time he needs to process his emotions. After weeks of travel, Logan finally arrives in the town. At a local tavern, he shows the photograph, asking if anyone recognizes the woman. A man identifies her as Beth Green, who runs a nearby pet house. Logan thanks him and leaves before hearing anything further. The next morning, Logan arrives at Beth's property. Emerging from the sunlight, she looks even more stunning than in the photo, leaving Logan momentarily speechless. Before he can explain his presence, Beth assumes he's there for a job, as she recently advertised an opening. Overwhelmed by work, she mistakes Logan's silence for agreement and hands him an employment form. When Logan mentions he's a Marine and walked 2,000 kilometers to get there, Beth becomes suspicious and tries to send him away, thinking his story doesn't add up. However, her grandmother Ellie steps in. After a brief conversation with Logan, Ellie decides to hire him, sensing his sincerity and his natural connection with dogs. Logan rents an old house nearby, planning to stay and work at Beth's pet kennel while waiting for the right moment to explain the connection between her and the photograph. Unsure of how to express the mysterious pull of the photo from the battlefield, he pours his energy into his work. With his strong work ethic and prior experience, Logan quickly completes tasks, repairing the dog kennels, fixing a long-neglected tractor, and cleaning up yard debris. Ellie, Beth's grandmother, notices his dedication and quickly grows fond of him. One afternoon, the peaceful routine shifts when a police car pulls into the yard. Keith, Beth's ex-husband and the local sheriff, steps out. Surprised to see Logan, Keith immediately confronts him. Logan stays calm, confidently asking what Keith wants. Instead of answering, Keith pushes Logan against the table and checks him thoroughly. After looking at Logan's ID, Keith sees that he is a retired Marine. Even though there's nothing suspicious, Keith's bossy attitude makes it clear he is used to being in charge. Keith's authority goes beyond casual visits. As the son of a high-ranking judge, he uses his influence and custody of Ben, his and Beth's son, to control her, often dragging her to public events under the guise of family appearances. This leaves Beth feeling trapped, fearful of losing her child, making it hard for her to connect with anyone else. Meanwhile, Logan quickly becomes a helpful presence in the household, but Beth keeps her distance, unsure of his intentions. She often notices him watching her, unaware that her presence brings him a sense of calm and peace he hasn't experienced in years. One evening, Ellie invites Logan for a meal. As Logan finishes eating, Beth arrives, unaware he is there, and scolds him in frustration for seemingly being everywhere she turns. Ellie quickly diffuses the tension by steering the conversation to Logan's studies. His thoughtful response to Beth's skeptical remark catches her by surprise. Logan thanks Ellie and leaves, while Beth, caught off guard, replays the moment with an awkward smile. The next day, after finishing her part-time teaching job, Beth leaves the school with Ben. That evening, while walking Zeus near the woods, Logan comes across Ben playing the violin near a treehouse. The boy plays softly, unaware of Logan watching. Logan pauses, nods, and says, "Not bad," before continuing on his way. Logan drives Ellie to a dinner party that evening. She speaks warmly about Beth's resilience and kindness. Logan silently agrees, knowing he has always seen the good in her. Logan's presence at Beth's house feels more natural over time. After dropping Ellie off, Logan visits Beth's home while she is cooking dinner with her son. As Logan enters, Ben asks him to stay for dinner. Beth hesitates, saying Logan might have plans, but Logan smiles and says he doesn't. Ben is thrilled. During dinner, Ben invites Logan to play chess. Logan lets him win, boosting his confidence. Ben then performs a simple magic trick, making both Logan and Beth smile. Beth quietly observes how easily Logan connects with her son. As the evening winds down, Beth tells Ben it's time for bed. Ben agrees and says goodbye to Logan. Beth and Logan stay behind, talking casually for the first time. Beth finds it surprisingly easy to open up. When Logan is about to leave, Ellie arrives home, slightly tipsy from dinner. Her playful stumble breaks the tension, drawing laughter from both Logan and Beth. At the door, Logan hesitates, struggling to bring up the story behind the photograph. Noticing his discomfort, Beth gently reassures him to take his time. Meanwhile, from across the street, Keith watches Logan leave Beth's house, his suspicious gaze fixed on the scene. The next day, Beth struggles with overwhelming grief on the anniversary of her brother's death. After returning from the graveyard, her composure crumbles, and she lashes out at her garden, cutting bushes and trying to tear down the wall. Unable to hold back her pain, Logan rushes over and gently holds her as she breaks down in tears. As she begins to open up, Logan pieces together that the photo that saved him in the war was of Beth and likely belonged to her brother. Beth reveals that her brother, a Marine, died on the battlefield a year ago. She explains that the authorities never provided clear answers about his death and mentions that she keeps her brother's photos hidden because it's too painful to see them. With each passing day, Logan settles into life at Beth's house, becoming an essential part of their routine. He keeps the dog kennels in great shape, builds a strong bond with Ben, and brings a sense of laughter and warmth to their lives. One day, Keith took Ben to a baseball game without asking Beth. When Ben returns with a bloody nose, Beth demands answers, but Keith dismisses her concerns. As Beth pushes for an explanation, Keith angrily grabs her arm. Logan intervenes, firmly telling Keith to let her go. The confrontation heightens the tension between the two men, with Keith now seeing Logan as a threat. After Keith leaves, Beth opens up to Logan about her painful past. She shares how her relationship with Keith began in college and led to an unplanned pregnancy, which resulted in their marriage. Over time, Keith's controlling and cruel behavior led to their divorce. Later, as Logan gets ready to leave, Beth hesitates but then stops him, inviting him to join her for a quiet dinner out, a small step toward trust. The next evening, Beth carefully prepares for her first real outing with him, her nervousness obvious. Ellie notices and offers an encouraging smile. Later, at a peaceful seaside restaurant, one of Beth's favorites, she opens up to Logan about her past. She shares how she lost her parents at a young age, leaving her brother and grandmother as her only family. The loss of her brother, a Marine, was devastating, and as they talk, they don't even notice how quickly time slips away. The drive back is calm, both of them lost in thought. When they arrive, Beth hesitates to leave. The unspoken feelings between them linger in the silence. Just as she turns to go, Logan gently stops her, and they share a tender, unexpected kiss. For Beth, it stirs emotions she hasn't felt in years. Their moment is interrupted when a police car pulls up, and Deputy Moore, one of Keith's men, steps out. The sight unsettles Beth, a clear reminder of Keith's control, and she leaves quietly as Logan remains calm. Beth can't stop thinking about Logan. Sensing this, Ellie gently encourages her, reassuring Beth that Logan is a good man who could bring happiness to both her and Ben. Days later, Ben's birthday arrives, filling the house with joy. Logan helps with the celebration, making Ben's day even more special. Beth can't hide how much it means to her to see them so happy together. However, Keith arrives, his jealousy barely concealed. Watching Logan bond with Ben pushes him over the edge. In the kitchen, Keith corners Beth and coldly threatens to take Ben away if Logan stays in their lives, confident the courts will favor him due to his influence. That night, Ellie confronts Beth, challenging her to stop letting Keith control her. Ellie reminds her that giving into his manipulation isn't protecting Ben but sacrificing their happiness. Beth begins to realize she must stand up for herself and her son. The next morning, Beth takes Ben to Keith's house, confronting him directly for the first time. She calls out his true intentions. He never cared about raising Ben and only uses him as leverage to control her. Keith, stunned by her resolve, is momentarily speechless. For the first time, Beth walks away feeling free. Beth returns home, her heart lighter, and finds Logan working under the outdoor shower. Without hesitation, she kisses him under the flowing water, and the moment deepens into the next morning. Beth wakes up in Logan's bed, feeling a rare sense of peace. Later, the day flows naturally as Beth, Logan, and Ben spend time together, cleaning, laughing, and dancing around the house. Their growing bond makes them feel like a true family. The next day, Beth attends church, where Ben performs with Logan playing the piano while Ben plays his violin. The simple but heartfelt performance earns warm applause from the crowd. Beth, watching proudly, is moved to tears, overwhelmed by her son's newfound confidence and the positive influence Logan has brought into their lives. Keith is also there, seething as he watches Ben thrive. To make matters worse, the congregation, including Keith's father, praises Logan for his kindness and the way he's helped Ben. Keith's resentment boils over as he realizes Logan is earning admiration from everyone around him. Later at home, Logan senses something is off when he finds his room disturbed and the photograph missing. Earlier, one of Keith's friends, who had seen Logan asking around town about Beth with her photograph, informs Keith of the encounter. Seizing the opportunity, Keith breaks into Logan's house and steals the photo. Armed with the photograph, Keith confronts Beth. He accuses Logan of lying about his intentions and claims Logan deliberately sought her out. Seeing the photo, Beth immediately recognizes it as one her brother used to carry. Confused and hurt, she begins to question everything. As Keith leaves, Logan arrives at the house. Beth confronts him with the photograph. With no other choice, Logan shares the truth. He recounts the incredible story of how he found the photo during the war, how it seemed to protect him, and how it ultimately led him to her. Though the story sounds hard to believe, Logan's honesty is clear. To Beth, the story feels complex, leaving her angry and confused. She asks Logan to leave, and he quietly agrees. The next morning, as Logan returns from the market with Zeus, Keith, drunk and with his deputy Moore, steps in front of him, blocking his way. Slurring his words, Keith threatens Logan and orders him to leave town. Staying calm, Logan tries to walk away, but Keith pulls out a gun and recklessly points it at Logan and Zeus. With the swift precision of a Marine, Logan disarms Keith in an instant, removes the bullets, hands the empty weapon to Moore, and calmly walks away with Zeus at his side. As a storm gathers that evening, Logan finds a photo tucked in a book Ben lent him one day. It's Beth's brother, with a tattoo reading Aces. Logan recognizes him as the soldier who died saving another that fateful night, strengthening his connection to Beth's family. Meanwhile, Beth and Ellie talk about Logan. Ellie insists that fate brought him into their lives and encourages Beth to open her heart. At the same time, Keith, consumed by guilt and desperation, shows up at Beth's house, pleading for another chance. Beth stands her ground, firmly refusing him. Furious, Keith escalates his threats, claiming he will take Ben away. Overhearing the argument, Ben bolts from the house, running toward his treehouse in the storm. Beth and Keith rush after him, and hearing the screams, Logan follows closely. They reach the river just as Ben attempts to cross an old wooden bridge. The storm's heavy rains weaken the structure, causing it to collapse. In a rare act, Keith grabs hold of Ben, stopping his fall, but both are swept into the rushing waters, where Keith struggles to swim and manages to catch Ben. Logan arrives just in time, pulling Ben to safety and returning him to Beth. Keith gets trapped beneath heavy debris as the bridge teeters on the brink. Before Logan can turn back for him, the treehouse collapses and Keith is swept away by the river's powerful current, disappearing into the rushing waters. His final actions reveal both regret and sacrifice. The storm passes, leaving the family shaken but safe. Keith's father arrives with emergency responders and acknowledges Logan's honesty, while Logan expresses his sorrow for what happened to Keith. The next morning, as the calm settles, Logan meets Beth and tells her the full story of her brother's heroism. He explains how her brother sacrificed his life to save a wounded comrade during a deadly ambush. He also reveals how the photo saved his life during the war and ultimately led him to her. The truth brings Beth a sense of closure, finally answering the questions she'd carried for years. As Logan prepares to leave, believing his presence might cause more harm than good, he says goodbye to Ellie, who offers him a supportive hug. With a heavy heart, Logan begins walking away from the house. Before he gets far, Beth hurries after him, calling his name. Logan stops and turns, and Beth embraces him tightly. And in that simple moment, their emotions overflow as they share a tender kiss, sealing their decision to move forward together. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications for more videos like this. There are amazing stories coming your way. Take care, and see you next time.